The NFL schedule is out, and we've got new details on which games will be streaming exclusives. Max is now HBO Max yet again, plus find out which streaming service is offering one of their best deals of the year. I'll cover all of these topics and more in the world of streaming television in today's video. On Shall I Stream It, I cover everything related to streaming television, helping you unpack the world of streaming in a way that doesn't drive you nuts or make you go broke. So if you want to stay up to date with all things related to streaming TV, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell, and also follow Shall I Stream It on social media, including TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Especially Instagram, it could use some love over there, so make sure to follow it, and I will have links in the description to everything. So I know I've been on a bit of a hiatus, but I am back on this YouTube channel. So welcome to everyone. If you are new here or returning, certainly glad to have you. I have moved into a new apartment and I've got new equipment. So let me know, what do you think of my setup in the description? In this video, I'm going to cover three things related to streaming television. First, some news in the world of sports, and then on to entertainment. And then finally, those deals, especially now that we are in Memorial Day weekend for May of 2025. So let's get started and talk about what is going on with the NFL season. We did recently learn the full schedule for the regular season, which starts in September. And just like last year, there are some games which are streaming exclusives. However, those streaming services have changed a little bit this year. Now, the good news is, just like last year, for all of these games that are streaming exclusives, if you are local in the market area for those teams, so for example, I live in the suburbs outside of Kansas City, I am in market for the Chiefs games, you can still watch those games on your local broadcast networks, either with an antenna, with a traditional TV service like a cable service, or with something like YouTube TV. I did confirm that is the same for all of these games I'm going to be talking about. I confirmed that with the press team for the NFL. So let's go ahead and look at this. Now, the biggest change right off the bat is that there is going to be a game on September 5th that will be exclusive to YouTube. And the good news is you can watch this for free. So just regular YouTube, the same way that you are watching this video, you'll be able to watch the September 5th game in Brazil between the Chargers and the Chiefs. Now, last year, that game slot was on Peacock. You had to sign up for Peacock to watch it if you were out of market at least. This year, though, totally free. Don't need NFL Sunday Ticket. Don't need YouTube TV. Pretty cool if you ask me. And, I think that's how we'd all prefer things be, is free. For Thursday Night Football, once again, we've got the Thursday Night Football games on Prime Video. There is a Monday Night Football game on ESPN Plus. This is something they did last year as well. I think it is wackadoodle cuckoo crazy. Don't really like this setup. On October 20th, the game between the Seahawks and the Houston Texans, that Monday Night Football game will be only on ESPN Plus. And what's notable here, it is not on ESPN, the cable channel, only on ESPN Plus, the streaming service. It's, I have words about that, which I will refrain from saying. And on Black Friday, once again, we've got a Prime Video game between the Eagles and the Bears. And on Christmas Day, yet again, Netflix is doing two games between the Commanders and the Cowboys, and also the Vikings and the Lions. Now, one change this year with the Christmas Day games, Amazon is getting in on the action as well, and there will be a third NFL game on Christmas Day that will be on Prime Video. And closing out the regular season, at least for the streaming games, will be one on Peacock. So there is going to be another Peacock game this year. It will be on December 27th, and those teams are, yet to be decided. Now, there are going to be some new streaming options ahead of the NFL season this year. We've finally gotten some of the details about these. The big one that was announced recently is going to be ESPN's new streaming service. Now, of course, ESPN already has ESPN Plus, which you can get as a bundle with Disney Plus and Hulu, but this streaming service is going to include everything that you can get from ESPN's cable channels. So ESPN Plus is really more like ESPN Minus. You don't get everything that you would with ESPN the cable channel, whereas this, you're getting the full enchilada. Now, the details that we got about this, it's kind of, at the surface, I think it's kind of not a very good deal, but we'll learn that could actually be by design, and I'll get into that. So this ESPN streaming service, which is just going to be called ESPN, is $29.99 per month. So basically, you're paying $30 for just ESPN. Kind of crazy, and frankly, I don't think a lot of people are going to sign up for it. But I'll get into why that might be and why Disney, which owns ESPN, might be doing that. You can also pay $299 for a year of ESPN. And just like ESPN Plus, you watch it through the ESPN app. And what's confusing about this, they are simultaneously going to be offering ESPN Plus. I read this was because of existing rights deals with some of the different, sports leagues and things like the UFC. ESPN Plus will continue to be offered simultaneously with ESPN, this new service, and ESPN Plus will still cost $11.99 a month. Now, if I had to wager a guess, I would say ESPN Plus is just going to be merged together with Disney Plus and Hulu, and eventually they will sunset that, but it might be a few years. In the meantime, I think it's super confusing to have these two services side by side, especially when there's a plus in the one that is essentially the lesser of the two options. Now, if you want to do a little deep dive into this, there is a column from Jared Newman for Tech Hive from PC World. And we'll have a link to this article in the description. But he goes into a little more detail on basically the context around the service. Now, if you sign up for a cable service, one interesting thing he points out is that the carriage fee to carry ESPN with a traditional cable service is around $10 a month. So basically, the portion of your cable bill that would, or something like YouTube TV, that would be going towards ESPN's channels is about $10. You compare that to this new service where you're basically getting one channel or one cluster of channels, if you're including like ESPN2 and the other ESPN channels. That is 3 times as much as what you would pay for ESPN normally. And that's not a very good deal. But really, this is kind of by design. They don't want to cannibalize their existing services, and they want to get just enough of the cord nevers, essentially, not the cord cutters who used to have cable and switched to streaming, but the people that they've never had cable, they never considered having cable. Maybe they'll get a few of those people, and maybe they'll bundle them together into the Disney Plus ecosystem. Because one thing that they're going to really emphasize at launch is a deal where if you get the new ESPN streaming service for up to a year, you can get the Disney bundle together with that, and you don't have to pay extra beyond the typical $29.99 price, which is still, a lot of money. So another streaming service that is going to launch ahead of the NFL season is going to be Fox's new streaming service. Now, this streaming service, essentially, it's launching because of sports. Fox was going to partner with Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery to do a streaming service called Venue Sports that got held up for various different reasons. I made videos about it if you want to watch it. But this streaming service is going to include various different things from Fox, the broadcast network, particularly the NFL games that are normally on Sundays, at least the end market ones, as well as different things from Fox Business, as well as Fox News. Now, this streaming service, it's going to, I assume, complement their existing Fox News streaming service, which is Fox Nation. We'll see about that. But essentially, this exists, so there is a streaming offering for Fox, Fox's broadcast network, and the way that Paramount Plus has, or CBS has Paramount Plus, and NBC has Peacock. Now, Fox has their streaming alternative as well. It's been reported that the price will be about $20 per month. That was according to an article from Matthew Keys at The Desk. So let's get on to some things in the world of entertainment. One new thing that we learned about this month from Warner Brothers Discovery, which operates the streaming service currently known as Max, is that Max will once again be known as HBO Max. And that change will be occurring sometime this summer. Now, this is more than just a name change because this also represents a shift in their strategy. Essentially, when they became Max, they were trying to be an everything streaming service, something to compete with Netflix and Prime Video. They added in the content from Discovery Plus, so then you could watch, premium scripted dramas from HBO alongside things like Dr. Pimple Popper. But what they found is that the people that were still signing up for Max weren't watching Dr. Pimple Popper. They were still signing up for it because they wanted to watch HBO. And if they wanted to watch Dr. Pimple Popper, which is still a popular show in its own right, they'll go to Discovery Plus or they'll go other places, but they're not specifically signing up for Max for that content. And the people that are signing up for Max, it was just a different audience. So, I think it's interesting. It shows there's really, I think, just a few slots for those kind of everything for everyone streaming services like Netflix or Prime Video, or now even really Disney Plus as that rebrands, and also YouTube. These are really the platforms where they're just kind of a bucket for a bunch of other people's streaming services, as well as some of their own content, like what we're seeing with Prime channels. So HBO Max is essentially going to focus on HBO. I would think that maybe some of that other content that they incorporated into Max, I would hope they're not just going to yank it off streaming and we never hear from it again. I hope they give it a chance to kind of live and find its own place. I think a good strategy for them would be to have like separate little streaming services, like maybe a streaming service for Turner Classic Movies, a streaming service for animation. I know those are two things in particular. A lot of people have been really upset with Warner Brothers Discovery for really not honoring and not giving a place for on Max, because there are people in particular that really love and want to see Turner Classic Movies and see those, classic films that Warner Brothers is just sitting on and not doing anything with, as well as people that want to see animation. That is also something that, a lot of animated shows you just can't find on streaming right now. So, I would say best case scenario, we'll see them find places for all this content. It's just not necessarily going to be on HBO Max, but maybe that's an optimistic view. We'll see what happens. Now on to Frndly TV. Now, Frndly TV, if you're not aware, it is a budget streaming service that focuses on live channels, including Hallmark Channel, as well as those owned by A&E networks like A&E and Lifetime and History. A lot of people really like this streaming service, although it is kind of a niche thing because you do have to be into those specific channels. But Roku is going to be acquiring Frndly TV for $185 million. I believe it is set to complete this summer, this deal. As far as what that will mean in the future once that is completed, if I were to guess, I would say you're really going to see Frndly TV emphasized in the Roku channel app, or if you have a Roku TV, it's going to be built into that interface. Most likely on the Roku channel screen, you're going to see, hey, you could get Hallmark Channel and you could get History and you could get Lifetime if you sign up for Frndly TV. So we'll see what happens. Kind of interesting. Those two brands are teaming up. Now, let's get on to the deals. And I have recently updated the deals page at shallistreamit.com/deals. I know historically, I'll be honest, I have not always done the best at consistently updating this. But for Memorial Day weekend, I have some new deals listed. The biggest one right now to be aware of is with Peacock. You can get a year of Peacock for just $24.99. Now, this will cover you all the way through next year's NFL season, so the 2025 to 26 NFL season. If you think about that, that's $2 a month, so really not a bad deal at all, and you will get the NFL games from Sunday Night Football, as well as the different shows and movies from NBC and Universal and The Office and Bravo and all that good stuff. That deal goes through May 30th. Now, over on Amazon Prime channels, you can get 2 months of Stars for $2.99. That deal is good through the 27th. There is a Memorial Day weekend for Masterclass. So if you want to learn new skills from the experts in their field, you can do that for up to 40% off, and that deal goes through the 26th. Over on Mubi, this is a streaming service for independent and sort of art house circuit films. Currently, you can get that for $3.99 a month for 4 months. Now, the last deal that I want to talk about is an exclusive deal for followers of Shall I Stream It. It is from a company that makes a device known as the Jubilee TV. Now, when I first heard about this device, I was like, you know what, this makes a lot of sense to me, and I know why this exists, and I would like to talk about it in more depth on my YouTube channel. So I reached out to them. They sent me the product. I'm going to be making a video in more depth, over the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. But this device, actually, you plug it into a television, and then you can assist your parents or people that you are a caretaker for that maybe aren't the most tech savvy. If they have problems with their TV, they're trying to watch a sports game, they're trying to find a show, whether it's with a cable service, whether it's with a Roku, it hooks into those devices and it allows you to provide technical support for your parents or whoever that you are the caretaker for or the helper for in some way, shape, or form. You can provide technical assistance to them remotely, including taking control of their TV. So your dad calls you, says, hey, I'm trying to watch the game. What do I do? You go through the Jubilee TV app and then it connects to their device, which is plugged into their TV, and you can find the game for them, even if you're not physically with them at all moments. It also has features for caretakers, things like the ability to send reminders, to take medications, things like that. So really interesting device and something that I think offers a lot of value. Again, that code shallistreamit25 will give you $25 off if you purchase that device. So you can currently get all of these deals at shallistreamit.com/deals, or to stay up to date with everything, you can always sign up for my email newsletter, which is at shallistreamit.com/newsletter. And there's a link to all of these things in the description of this YouTube video as well. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.